Hello, 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 hello. Hey everyone, got a lot to talk about on this here evening. Hi, hey beautiful people, how y'all feeling tonight? Shout out to the people on my Worth.tv YouTube channel, and shout out to the people on my Nicci Gilbert Instagram channel. Hello, everyone. Hi, beautiful people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Folks are trickling on in here. Hi, everybody. I am proud to say that tonight, for this episode of Nights with Nicci, I am rocking a lipstick by one of Detroit's finest. Hey, Shaquetta, I see you, girl. Hi. The Lip Bar. So I am supporting a Black woman-owned business, and proud to say this sister is from the city of Detroit. So you guys, listen, it's so much going on out here in these internet streets. Let me tell you, I've been so busy today, just, preparing for a bunch of things that are coming up. Some things I'm super excited about, some things I'm not so excited about, some things I'm quite irritated about. But I think that is one of my takeaways and one of my big lessons already this early into the year. You guys, I can't believe that we are only a few not are we a few weeks into January? I guess we're getting towards the end of January, and it just so feels crazy, y'all. I'm not even gonna hold you up. It feels really crazy, and it's a lot of I think everybody's experiencing a lot of anxiety right now. I think everybody's feeling a lot of uncertainty. Some people may even be feeling fear. And I'm here to tell you that fear is indeed, let me move this over just a little bit. If you follow me on Instagram, just real quick, make sure you make your way over to that YouTube channel, baby. And if you're more comfortable on Instagram, I get it. I mean, at the end of the day, um, we got to watch all of these platforms and leverage them and utilize them as much as we can. But yeah, I know people are. I'm writing down a note because I remember to talk about this. I know people are wondering what's going on. I know people are concerned about what the future holds. And I mean, right. Native Scorpio 72 said we all need to calm down and live our best lives. I would have to agree with that. And here's the thing. To when you say like breathe and woosah and don't be proactive, I'm sorry, not don't be reactive and be more proactive. It is not minimizing the severity of what we're dealing with. That is not, the goal, to make people feel like, oh, you tripping, or you putting too much on it, or whatever the case may be. But you also have to be really realistic and straightforward about what you're experiencing. I'm sorry, how you manage what you're feeling, and not feel like you have to just take in all this information at one time, because everybody has a lot going on in our lives. I mean, it didn't all start with this new administration. Clearly, it's been going on for a long time. And, it's interesting because I looked at the Amanda Seals clip. And first of all, let me get some housekeeping done. I'm not gonna put her picture up because I didn't prepare for the show tonight, and I didn't get all my images and stuff on YouTube. Usually, guys, I'll show a photo of the person that I'm talking about. But everybody knows the beautiful, smart, super talented, uber passionate Amanda Seals. And I love her. I think she's brilliant. I think she is one of the smartest people in our community. But I also believe that she's so passionate about and convicted in her beliefs that sometimes, it comes off, a certain way. And honestly, she's let us know millions of times, as she should, that she don't give a flying frog leg. Her position is her position. But she talked about how she was making the decision And I'm not going to name the platform because, you know, I want to stay on it. And I'm back on Twitter now, for those of you who don't know, although Twitter won't let me go live. And that's probably because of me leaving and coming back. But I did come back with my followers, although they're not interacting very much. I came back with them followers. But I'm going to get to that too. Matter of fact, let me put this note here and why I went back to Twitter. Some of y'all might know because, you know, whatever. But back to Amanda. I applaud her decision for her, if that is what she feels like she needs to do. I think that it is a strong statement to say that I'm not going to continue to stay on this platform because I don't feel respected here. Totally get it. And I made a comment under it. And matter of fact, let me pull this up. That I can pull up. I'm going to pull this thing up so I can share you guys, because people have been saying things about the things that I have said. And I want to make sure people understand, because, you know, we're all in this together. You know what I mean? No matter how you slice it. If you're not a billionaire, then you're in this shit with us. Let me get my comment. So my comment was, so I'm not sugarcoating if y'all didn't see it. I said people have to work with coworkers, bosses, companies they don't like every day. I learned the hard way that money and feelings don't go together, especially in this economy. Better get your bread when and where you can, because the truth is people care more about a check than they do your feelings. Now, I got mixed reactions from that, you know, and I understand why, because, you know, someone made a specific comment saying, I'm glad that our, you know, ancestors didn't see it that way, right? And I get it. You understand? I get the concept of wanting to leverage our dollars to get people to understand the value that we bring to a situation, a thing, a platform, a store, you know? I get it. And I think in theory, it's amazing. And there was a time not so long ago that I believed that things like economic protests would actually be super impactful to the bottom line of these big box stores and these platforms and all this other stuff. But I soon came to the harsh, cold, hard reality that while economic protest in back in the day worked well for our community and for our people, we were much more unified in a much different way, right? If you're watching me on YouTube, please do me a favor and hit that like button. And please hit the like button because it will let YouTube know that you are watching and you are interested. And this algorithm is becoming the OODA. Now it's got a nice ring to it, right? The owners of the algorithm, we know who they are. It'll at least kind of break us through a little bit, but be clear that we will probably have fewer and fewer. Well, let me not even speak that because I'm gonna get to that too. Hold on. Trying to stay on track here. Hey, Brown Coffee, I see you. Please, if you're watching me on Instagram, I know there are like 3 of y'all on here. Please do me a kind favor, and I might go off and come back on to try to reset this algorithm if it doesn't give me any love at all. But please go over to my YouTube channel and hit like and subscribe. It is so important that you hit that like button, right? Because again, it'll push us through the algorithm. But Amanda made the decision that February 1st, she is stepping away from one of the platforms. And I respect that. You know, she feels like my conviction and my commitment to being in places where I feel like I'm wanted is more important than the millions of followers that I have and the reach that I have. And I just want to say something about that. And I just want to offer a little bit of different perspective. I'm not trying to criticize her decision because she's a grown ass woman and she's super smart and she don't need no advice from me. But this is perspective because as celebrities and public figures, we do have platforms that reach a lot of people, right? And I think that having a counterbalance narrative on a lot of this stuff is super important. And hello, hi. Having a counterbalance narrative on things is super important, or another perspective, right? So the other perspective is, and this kind of goes to, I don't know if you have had a chance, but please go to Tabitha Brown's Instagram if you have not, and take a look at the post that she made, I believe it was either yesterday or the day before, about Target. And, not just Target, Walmart, and a lot of the other big box retailers who, have rolled back their DEI efforts. Oh, yeah. Make that note. Who have rolled back their DEI efforts. Please like this if you're on YouTube. Please, please, please. That video that Tabitha Brown broke it down so well on, right, is where I kind of want to start my conversation tonight. And basically, in summary, right, paraphrasing, and she did it in her Tabitha Brown way, which is so peaceful and so beautiful and so calm and loving, right? So I'm going to do it the hardcore Detroit big mouth ass way, and just say, what I got from the conversation, right, is that while we want to be really focused on making sure that our voices are heard and understanding that in these stores and retailers and folks understanding that there's value in our dollar and there's value in where we put our eyeballs and there's value in all these spaces, we also need to consider, or should consider, that Amazon hires a lot of us, right? I don't know what the ratio is, but I hear it's something like 30% or 40%, really high, right? And I know when I go about my day, or even when I have packages delivered at home, it's a lot of young Black men, a lot of young Black women, Latina men and women who are working, making these deliveries. They probably have young families, or they're probably trying to become educated, in school or whatever it is. And there's so many people who are impacted indirectly by our decisions to either stop patronizing or, stop supporting a lot of these places. And while I do believe that, I'm saying all the words that's going to further keep me shadow banned, right? Economic protests have been effective in the past. And I mentioned before, there is a really incredible story, if you're not familiar, called the Detroit Housewives League. And it is an incredible, when I say incredible story, an incredible story of women, real women, Danny Peck and a bunch of other really amazing women in Detroit who worked together, came together, and they decided, and I'm not going to be selfish because I've been trying to keep this story to myself because I really want to do the movie. And now that I'm talking about it on my YouTube channel, I'm sure somebody's going to be like, guess what movie I'm doing? But what's more important is, that the people get the message. So Housewives League of Detroit is a story of a group of women in the city of Detroit who realized that stores and companies and businesses were not selling products for us. They were not hiring us to work in their stores, right? So they quietly, ever so quietly, right? That's another thing. And I'm one to talk, but that's another thing. We like to do it loud and all up front and telling everybody how mad we is and what the plan is and where we going to be to boycott and whatever, right? But back in the day, that was one of the things that our community, in making their plan and pulling things together, that was one of the things that they always considered, is that, if we're going to be effective, we say, we have this thing where we say move in silence, and it just seems like we move in silence for everything, but the shit that's really good for our community. But anyway, so my point is just that these women came together and they really did some amazing proactive things in the city of Detroit. They actually, hi, Miss Melba Moore. I see you, Queen Melba Moore. Congratulations on that beauty. Y'all, let's pause for the legend. Pause for the legendary. Baby, that's what I'm saying, because even though it only be 2.2 people on my lives, when the queen arrives, baby, I love you, Miss Melba Moore. There's so much I want to talk to you about and learn from you on, but that's another conversation. Let me get back to this. But I love you. Thank you for paving the way, and I honor you, Queen. She's on my Instagram for those of you who are watching me on the YouTube. And for those of you who are watching me on Instagram, please make sure that you go over and you hit subscribe. Don't leave my YouTube to go over there and say hi. Well, you can do whatever you want to do, y'all grown. But make sure that if you're on my YouTube, you do hit the subscribe and the like, because again, I need them likes, baby. Let me pause for a minute to tell y'all what I'm drinking. So another part of my wellness journey, I'm gonna get right back to it. I'll tell you what I'm drinking afterwards. Let me get back on track before I get A little sidetrack. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me acknowledge some people. Let's get ready for this tour in Chicago. Yes, Steve-O. I see you. And hey, Miss Bennett, thank you for being tuned in. I appreciate you guys. Listen, YouTube. Instagram probably don't like me to say YouTube, but I'm gonna say YouTube. Okay. So, there are so many people who could and would be impacted by us making a decision to do that. And back to this Detroit Housewives League, they came together, they moved in silence, and they built something really incredible. And they made a lot of positive changes within the community. They were like, you know what, isn't such and such son in school to become a dentist? And I'm just kind of paraphrasing and throwing stuff out there, right? Well, let's send our kids to get their teeth cleaned by him. Oh, doesn't such and such and such own a theater? Well, let's book the shows here and do, you understand? So very similar to how Tulsa was able to build and grow and build that community there. Detroit and Black Bottom and the Detroit Housewives League and all of that powerful stuff was built there. And then, there's always a thing. So allegedly what had happened is they built a freeway through it, and I don't even think we use the freeway anymore, but there's some people in Detroit who are doing some amazing things. Shout out to Dennis Archer Jr. and Hiram Jackson and Gail Perry Mason and Kiko and all the wonderful, amazing movers and shakers in the city. Christine, a lot of people are out there rebuilding and pouring into the city. And I was actually hanging out with my cousin downtown a couple months ago, and I was standing in the middle of Paradise Valley, and they have like a Paradise Valley Walk of Fame. So y'all, Detroit is turning into one of them little hot spots that you need to go on ahead and hang out in and get you guys some good food and go visit the casino and go to the waterfront. And it's just a cool city. I'll never forget how Anthony Bourdain talked about how much he loved the city of Detroit, and so many people do. It's like an international city. So I'm super proud to be a native Detroiter. So again, if you're watching me on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe. I'm trying to get my YouTube game up. Hey, Warren Civic, thank you so much. My lipstick is by The Lip Bar, speaking of Detroit, a Black-owned product. But here's an interesting. Well, let me finish my Detroit Housewives story. I think I did. I said they built a freeway through it, and then I'm going to get back to why I brought that story up and why it's so important. But pause for the cause. The lipstick is both a Black-owned lipstick brand, The Lip Bar, and MAC, which is not a Black-owned brand. And the reason I'm making this point, and it might sound a little lightweight, ridiculous, right, is because there's a way for us to coexist. If my lip can coexist and I can have on a Black-owned lip brand and a white-owned or corporate-owned lip brand, and I can be happy and my lips can be juicy and red and cute, then we can figure out a way to unify and become a tighter community and not make it so much about race and not make it so much, because at the end of the day, I think the thing that a lot of people need to understand is that this is not about to be a race issue. This is about to be a class issue, I believe. I think that the wealthy people in this country are going to become more wealthy. And I don't know what that means for middle class people. I'm assuming, I don't know what that means for poor people. I don't know that doesn't mean that, everybody will eventually start to do better, because, rich people need folks to run their businesses and things. And, that's why when we think about Amazon and we think about Walmart and we think about these big box companies and whatnot, we want to consider that there's a trickle down effect. Everybody doesn't want to be a billionaire. Everybody doesn't even want to be a millionaire. People want to just be able to live a happy, healthy, productive life, support their families, go to work every day, enjoy the simplest things, right? And know that they can feed their kids and know that they have a place to report to work to grow their families, right? Some of us have really big plans and want to own, big things and leave behind a lot of generational wealth and wellness. But I think even those of us who have been so hyper focused on building that way are now like, hey, we don't know what the hell is going on. We don't know if this is going to be good. We don't know if this is going to be bad. And we've heard a lot of, and I'm not making this a political conversation, by the way, right? I'm not getting on here to bad mouth no politicians, and I'm not getting on here to no Roger, no run, no rent, because I'm over it. I've had a lifetime of it, and I'm past that. It does not mean that I am not going to advocate for better for our community and better for the people that I care about, but it means that I'm not fighting like that no more, because I have just accepted the cold hard reality that, you know, just like the old saying, it sounds terrible to say this, but let's just kick it all the way 100. Bringing a knife to a gunfight, you know? It's like we have to be realistic about where we are as a community. We have to be realistic about the things that we need to grow, to become better, to become more competitive, right? We know that there's so much stuff out there that is unfair, right? So much stuff that so much better that we all feel we deserve. But the reality is we might not have that for a minute. You know, the reality is for a minute, 4 years or more, I don't know. But for a minute, we might just have to find joy and peace and love and comfort and purpose in the space that we're in the times that we're living in the administration that is making the decisions for this country. And I know that there are plenty of people out there who probably feel like, no, Roger, no, we're going to run. We got to fight. We got to stop this. And to those people, I mean no disrespect, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic. Just I'm kicking it to y'all 100%. What is the proposition? What do you propose that we do? Right? Now, I know a lot of people are like, get off the platforms, stop shopping in the stores. Are we really ready to not do Amazon at all? Because it's not just about the convenience of having things delivered to your door. It is about the fact that many of us have kids that we're raising. A lot of us who are at that age where our parents are getting older, we have relatives who are ill. We have all sorts of other things that we must commit our time to. Do we really want to get back to the point of spending hours in a store, standing in the line behind a whole bunch? Because we know what it gets like when it's a winter storm. You're in a line for 379 hours at Publix or Kroger's or wherever you are, Walmart, whatever, right? And we already know what it feels like to have fewer people working in those stores and fewer people in the checkout lines and stuff. It's a big picture disadvantage when we start just talking about cold turkey, just stop doing stuff, right? I get the passion. I get the commitment to wanting to do better. I get that we as a community have to stand for something and we'll fall for anything. This is not about just, a lot of the people were like, well, not a lot of people, a couple of people were like, well, all money ain't good money. You got to leave some money on the table. Baby, those very words have come out of my mouth. Though I've said those very things, but at the end of the day, let me hit y'all with some real shit. Oh, wow. Get ready for this. If I knew about my case with Lionsgate, if I knew today, not that I wasn't going to be able to, if I knew that I wasn't going to be able to go to trial, if I knew that there was nothing that I could really do about it but continue to pour money into lawyers and continue to pour money into a legal system that wasn't really seeing me and just continue to, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to make this about me. I'm getting to a point, y'all. If I knew what my chances really were, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have compromised my family's wellness and welfare and education and bankrupted us. I wouldn't have done it. I simply would not have done it. And having gone through that process, I'm like, well, what were you supposed to get from this? What is it that God put you through this process for? To tell y'all that it ain't worth it. You know what's interesting? I just found out today that another person who was actually suing another creative who went to trial. And I was like, oh, yeah, she went to trial. Maybe this is going to go well for all. She lost. Went to a jury and lost. that is just probably not a space where you will ever be able to win. What is the moral of that story? The moral of that story is to do it. Do the thing. Don't go pitching it. Don't go sharing it. Don't go talking about it. Just do it. Just get it done. And if you do have to go in and you do certain things or you pitch certain things, then understand that it happens. And money and the ability to hire really, really good lawyers who can keep you in that space, trumps your emotions and your feelings and your truth. And it's a hard reality. It's a hard pill to swallow. Man, come on. Me have to pay these people for what I believe is what? But that's the cold, hard reality of the world we're living in, right? We know who is running our country. And at the end of the day, as much as we might not like it, you still have to live here and you still have to live by the rules that are created by the person who won the election. Let's say it together. He won. We lost. And we're not going to undo his winning by reacting to all the things that are happening, especially when we don't know. Thank you, Pam. I see you. Yay. She said, congratulations on my 15K. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm sorry. Thank all of you on YouTube for getting me to 15K. I'm trying. Y'all, look, I've been trying to be more consistent with my lives. Y'all know I got a lot of stuff going on, but thank you guys. Thank you, everyone. Let me stop and say that. Thank you, every single person who subscribed to my YouTube channel and got me to 15,000 subscribers, because it might not seem like a big deal, but it is a huge deal for me. So back to this thing. We don't know what's happening, you guys. We don't know if this is going to be the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst. We have a pretty good idea, or so we think. Please, Instagram, watch me on Instagram. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm going to go off my Instagram. IG, come hang out on YouTube. How about that? So I can just focus on my YouTube people, because I feel like I'm not giving y'all the time and attention. And y'all did give me the 15,000. So, discard. Hold on. Okay, guys. Hopefully some folks will come over from Instagram. But let's keep it nice and intimate. It is a lot. We don't know what it's going to ultimately be. I know that people believe that it's going to be all bad. But whatever happens, the one thing that we're going to have to do is rebuild. No matter what happens. Or in some instances, in some cases, continue to build. No matter what happens, we have got to continue to build or to rebuild or to start building. And it's really important, in my opinion, for us to do that with each other and as a community, and understanding that what is happening is not as much about race as it is about class. And the class of the wealthy folk are the people that this administration cares about. Hold on, you guys. I got to mute y'all for a second. That's my grandson's dad. One second. Okay, guys. Yeah, it was a big game tonight. So the kid got caught up in the football game. So yeah, it's late, 10 o'clock, way past his bedtime. But anyway, we have got to figure out a way to build together. We've got to figure out a way. And that is an inside job. It is, and it's not just about building with just other Black women or building with just we collectively. And I know that there's this whole thing about, hey, Black women tried to rescue people and people didn't listen, and look what we are, and we 92% and this and that and third, and that is all true and good and well, but we need each other to do that. We need each other to do this. And the truth is that I've had instances where my own people who look like me, Black women, who have not shown up for me the way non-Black women have. I mean, right. Well, non-Black women have. I've had white men show up for me. I've had Latina women and white women and all sorts of other people. It's about finding your tribe. It's about finding the people that connect with you and have a common goal and building together I understand that everybody wants to make sure that you are fighting for what's right, and you want to make sure that you put your flag in the ground or whatever the case may be. And I respect that, and I'm not knocking anybody's gangster, but at the end of the day, in order for us to get forward, we have to have money. We have to have what that's one of the things we've been talking about forever anyway. And I'm gonna have to get off here because my grandson just came in and he's got to get ready for school. But in order for us to get through whatever this moment is, and we don't know yet, it's a lot of scary shit happening around us. It's a lot of scary stuff happening, but we still don't know what this moment means for us, right? I can't imagine that it's so spectacular at all. But whatever it means, we have got to build together. So my exercise for myself is to try to stay in a positive space as much as I possibly can. Because like many of you, I've got so much real stuff going on in my life, personally, with my family. Y'all know it ain't no joke with my finances from this lawsuit. It's just so much going on that to just keep layering and layering trauma and layering shit that just makes you go, oh my God, is it what's going on or what's happening with the world? It's just too much. And I believe that we need to be preparing ourselves for the cold hard reality that if you don't have money and you're not using and leveraging every platform that you have, back to my comment under Amanda Seals' comment about leaving a platform. Instead of leaving platforms and instead of boycotting big box stores and all that other stuff, maybe this is a time for us to put our head down. And by put our head down, I don't mean like put your head down. I mean, put your head into focusing on building together, leveraging these platforms to reach as many people as we possibly can. Because how else do you reach people all over the world, right? There are people who have huge YouTube platforms with lots of influence. There are people who are, you see what happened when TikTok went away? People was like, folks were just, y'all saw them folks? So encourage people to just work harder and to focus on building and to focus on growing as much as they can their financial wellness, because we gonna all need it, because these people care about money and these people care about, you heard them like, hey, this one giving me 500 million and this one giving me 100 trillion and this one giving me 700. They don't care about our problems. And it was a very wealthy person that I know who told me, and it stuck with me. And I was like, that's the coldest shit I ever heard. And not cold like, oh, that's cold. Cold like, that is cold. It's terrible. But he said, the problem with us is that folks let their money be mad. Everybody got, I ain't with her. I ain't dealing with her. I don't like him. I ain't such and such. In fact, no shade. Just because I'm saying this does not mean that I don't have a problem with Amanda Seals. But at the same time that she's like, I'm leaving this other platform because blah, 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 blah. She also said underneath, well, I'm not going over there because I got a problem with the person over there. But then now you're sowing sort of a question of like, well, damn, should I go over there? Is that person shady or is that? And this is a Black man building a platform to try to compete or, show that we're capable of doing this too. So it's not important for you to say, well, I'm not going over there for this reason, because then you make people question whether or not, well, most people find out for themselves, but why shit on somebody else is all I'm saying. Right. And I'm not trying to shit on her by saying, okay, you didn't have to, but and it's not because I know Isaac and I think what he's doing is dope. I just think that as our community, we do that shit too much. It's so much. I ain't, and she ain't. R&B divas, right? And then I got to get off here for real. Go to my grandson. R&B divas is a classic example. Like we're planning this whole of all of these big stores that we really, honestly, makes life a little easier for us in terms of like getting shit delivered to your house and employs like a lot of young people of color and. What do we do without Amazon? That's a complicated scenario to figure out, right? And if you're helping other people grow and progress and other families eat, yeah, they might not be doing everything they're supposed to be doing, but it provides opportunities for people to work and feed their families. And they probably are clear on who they work with and who they work for. And they probably making moves to do whatever it is that they need to do after the fact. Like Tabitha Brown said, I got another year and I got to figure out what I'm doing from there. But my point is just that we get so caught up in being reactive to things. And back to this thing I was going to say about R&B divas. That is a classic example of, it's been years that have gone by and a lot of money that's been on the table for R&B and a lot of money that's been on the table for R&B divas brand. And this ain't about catty or messy. Y'all can take a clip and run with it and say whatever the hell you want to say. That part doesn't matter to me. But just to make the example clear, having an attitude about something that happened, and even if you don't have an attitude, maybe it's just like, I'm just not doing it because I'm over it and it just doesn't matter, whatever. But having this chip on your shoulder or this thing, and this is for me too, because I had that chip on my shoulder for a long time. And it's no longer on my shoulder because my money's not mad no more. The possibility of money isn't angry anymore because I know that money is inanimate. It's a tool. But a lot of people are still holding on to that, and it prevents a whole collective to a degree, right? Because there's a solid fan base out there for R&B divas. I believe there's money out there in their woods for that franchise. And because of egos across the board, I'm not calling anybody specifically out, whether it's producers or who, this one or that one or whatever, can't get to the bag because the money got feelings. I don't have no feelings about it. I'm not trying to be friends with too many people in my life at this point, but I'm trying to build with people and work with people. And I'm okay with transactional relationships right now. And the reason why is because if I had taken that very first offer that I got before I was 4 years into this litigation with them people, knowing what my chances were and where I would end up, I'd have taken that bag. And it's terrible and awful to think about it because it was insulting and, and then I probably would have been mad because then I'm like, you played yourself. You probably could have won. But hindsight being 2020, the bottom line is I understand we don't stand a chance if you don't have a bag. You can't feed your family. You can't pay for groceries. You can't. And yes, there are people all over the world who are struggling and trying to figure out, or people who live off the fat of the land, go somewhere, plant some seeds, harvest, whatever. But the vast majority of the Black people in this country are already living below the poverty line. We are already struggling and trying to get sick one time. It's a wrap. When I look at the harsh reality of family members who need medical services and the medical services and the quality of some of the medical services that they're getting, that is directly impacted by the lack of employment opportunities of people in your community who look like you, who care about you. And it's already tight. So now we go and we start saying we're not going to patronize and we're not going to support and we're not going to whatever. And we are creating more people who are below the poverty line. And instead of doing that, I just feel like, it worked back in the day. But it worked back in the day because our ancestors had a different commitment to progress than we do. We have been in a space of me, fi, me, because so many people have wanted to escape the circumstances that they were born in, and not like, escaping your family, but wanting to see more, wanting to accomplish better. I mean, I left Detroit and moved to LA, moved here, went everywhere. Now I'm like, shit, I'm trying to go back to the crib and build there. And that's a pattern that a lot of people follow, as opposed to us feeling like when we're in our communities, we don't have to leave and we can continue to build. So this is that moment where we can come together as a community and build. Find your tribe. Find people who are like-minded. I'm so curious to know who out there is creating great content. I'm so ready to lean into art and creativity and having some fun and celebrating, right? I know this is weird to say you want to celebrate at a time like this, but at the end of the day, mental, physical, spiritual, and financial wellness is all that matters right now. Trying to convince a country that has never felt really indebted to you for anything. We've never owned the majority of this place, and we probably never will, right? We are so far behind the ball that the reality of it is, in this generation, the next, and the one after that, there's a statistic about how you impact how many generations you can impact by the decisions that you're making now, and how it relates to generational wealth and wellness for Black people. And we are way behind the ball. Harry Belafonte said it once. I think it's too late. And I don't mean to be pessimistic, because I'm the eternal optimist. I think it's too late for what we thought was possible. But I don't think that it's too late for us to start building now from the bottom up, and thinking about how important it is for us to lean into that for the sake of our children and our grandchildren. And that's my focus, right? My focus is, how do we preserve and protect what we have so that our grandkids have a shot? Your kids have a shot. Our kids in our community have a shot. Because, yeah, this shit is foul. And the only way to get out of it is to build together and to find some peace, because your mental health goes away. It don't matter how much money you got, and it don't matter what these people are doing and what the rules are and what happens with DEI. It don't matter if you don't have your mental health intact. And right now, everybody's mental health is hanging on by a thread. Okay. So let me go up here, help my grandson get prepared for his school day. He's been at a football party with his daddy. I'm going to come back maybe tomorrow, because I'm trying to be consistent. I know I lied the last time I went live, and I was like, I'll be back tomorrow, and I didn't show up. But yeah, just like my YouTube channel, building from the bottom up, and you all are the people that I'm collaborating with to build this. So thank you. Please hit the like button. Please hit subscribe, and love on each other. That's why I chose my heart earrings and my Choose Love t-shirt, because love is indeed the answer. And building and collaborating together is the answer. And like, stop consuming all of that doom and gloom, because don't nobody really know what's going on, because it ain't been but 6 or 7 days, right? What's that right there? It ain't been but a few days. And I mean what I said about what I would not have done had I known, because, yeah, I hate to say it, guys, but I know I was on my soapbox talking about creatives' rights and the rights of creatives, and I'm not so sure how I feel about that anymore. Money rules everything, right? And I get it. Some people are like, no, money's not everything. You can't say that. You can't. But if you don't have money to feed your children, if you don't have money for them to get educated, if you don't have money to pay for heat and for gas, if you don't have money to take care of yourself when you get sick, if you don't have the basic necessities, then yeah, you can have love and you can have, your integrity and all that other stuff, but it's a hard, hard, hard life. So unify, collaborate, build, trade, volunteer, lift up, pray, and fight, but fight a different way. Because, yeah, I'm just not in a space where I'm about to go boots on the ground, no Roger, no rerun, no rerun. I'm tired of all the insurrections and the we need a break. And I'm taking mine. Now, if there are people out there who are doing it, fine, I get you. Hey, go for it. Hey, no Roger, no rerun, no rent. But you can also put that energy into building. You can put that energy into building and making money, because we all need it. And I'm not saying you got to go out there and be a hoe or lose your integrity or lack character, but we need financial resources in order to rebuild what is ultimately going to be And I want to say this real quick before I get off. To everyone in Los Angeles, I'm so sorry for what you're experiencing. If you lost your home, I can't even imagine. And I know that people talking about boycotting stores and some of these other things sounds ridiculous when you're trying to figure out a warm place for you and your kids to sleep, and clothes and food, and how to process losing everything. And keep going. keep fighting, keep building, even in that situation. Community and working together and coming together is the solution, because all these things we talked about are real. Global warming and all of that stuff is real. And it's going to, unfortunately, it'll probably come knocking at the door of a lot of us, right? And all we can do is rebuild. All right. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Tonight I kept it under a whole hour. I know I was kind of a little all over the place, and part of it was because I was distracted, anticipate my grandson coming, and now get up here and be Nana. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm praying for, like I said, anybody who's going through anything. Please continue to pray for me and my family. It is getting really tough with this brain cancer thing. It's terrible. It's awful. We're optimistic, and it's teaching me a lot about just being grateful and not sweating the small stuff and just continuing to build one day at a time. Right? So we'll have plenty of time to be sad. Let's figure out how to be grateful. All right, y'all. All right, guys, please. Thank you for 15,000. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Oh, and I didn't put my Cash App up there, but the Cash App is Fight #4 Worth. $ Fight for Worth, because we are viewer supported. We have some great things coming. I did not talk to you guys about the R&B divas and I'm sorry, ladies of R&B shows that are coming up. I will have, hopefully soon, some really good news to share with you all. I know I had a lot to say about R&B divas not coming together, but there are some who have, and I'm excited about where that is headed. brownstoneofficial.com. Find out about those dates and subscribe. Join our community. Okay, guys. Happy Sunday. Thank y'all for hanging out. Nice with Nicci. God bless everyone.